Hello, this is Tormod, and I am here this morning, and I want to talk about something that have been a pattern that I've been emerging, a thought pattern that have been emerging within me, that have been with me for some years, many years, that I have been given support on before, and so on. That I want to share this support, this how I work with this. And this is the trigger alert, thoughts of suicide. Thoughts of suicide. And if I'm not a doctor or a scientist, I'm an ordinary guy working my way through my schizophrenic mind, exposing what I find. That is what I do. But if you're suffering from voice in the head of suicide or going through psychosis, please contact your doctor or local support team. So what I've learned and I'm being supported with is to find out whenever I have a thought of suicide, like it bubbles up in my head sort of, if I then entertain that thought, if I nurture that thought how do I nurture a thought? How does that work? How does one nurture one's own thinking? How does that work? With giving it time, giving it energy, giving it emotions, giving it more thinking, basically. Thinking things about the thing, basically. So when I'm having suicidal thoughts, if I go into worry or fear or depression or anxiety or hate or anything, I'm thinking about this, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm such a sick guy. Anything, if I'm just thinking about around and round the core of the suicide thoughts, I'm giving those suicide thoughts more nourishment. I'm giving the thought of suicide more attention, more energy, more space within me. And it grows and grows and grows. Instead of learning myself to forgive, learning to forgive all the connections, all the thinking, the feeling, the emotions, the time, the energy that I have invested in suicide thoughts, if I can forgive in great detail all the components, all the thinking, all the emotions, all the systems that I put into my contemplating, my worrying of suicide. I must forgive all those attachments and circumstances around the suicide thoughts, and forgive all that and let go of those addictions, be it of blame or hate or fear or anxiety, whatever, to forgive it in great detail. And then, ladies and gentlemen, then I can see the thought isolated, like a fly on the wall. Then, after I've forgiven it in great detail, I can see the thought of suicide as I can recognize this as a fly on the wall, a little black dot on the wall. And I can simply ignore that fly, Here's the brilliance of destiny I process and self-forgiveness. Because when I reach that point, I can just spot it. Okay, I reckon I see what that is, and I don't care about it. I ignore it. I'm not going to invest in it. Either feelings or emotions or thinking or worry or fear or whatever. I'm not going to invest in my suicide thoughts. I can see it as a little black dot on the screen on the wall. I see it, okay. I'm not going to pick this up. I'm not going to go into debating this in my head. And rather just let it go, breathe, and find a living word, a simple word to support myself with. Because here's another catch. If I, after ignoring the fly, that is the suicide thought, if I, after ignoring it, okay, if I, after ignoring it, go into depression or defeatism, or feeling low or depressed anyhow, then it will just recycle itself. Then the system will recycle itself into more suicide thoughts eventually. You see, the mind is very clever this way. It has lots of backup systems. So after I've ignored the fly on the wall, the little black dot on the wall, after I've ignored that, I need to find my living word. I need to find my physical self-awareness and my living word, and then move on with my day. And not let suicide thoughts occupy my mind, my thinking. So here are the two main points: to learn to identify the suicide thoughts and to see it, to reach a point through self-forgiveness, reach a point of seeing the thought as a fly on the wall, a little black dot in nothing, a little black dot on a screen, and just go ignoring it. I'm not interested in that. I would rather support myself with a living word. Thank you very much. And after that, be careful not to go into depression or defeatism, feeling defeated for mind or something, but rather find a living word to support myself with. Such as today that word is, for me, light-hearted. Light-heartedness, you know? So there's the example of a living word. It can be any word that can support you as a being. So if you want to learn about self-forgiveness or living word application, I can give you some links and some help and some support on that if you're interested in it. This is about how to end suicide thinking addiction, to stop investing in the depressive thoughts of suicide, in the destructive thoughts of suicide, to stop investing in it, to recognize it, to forgive all the circumstances around it, yes. And learn to see that fly, that black dot on the wall, and just ignore it, to not invest in it, to just, I don't care, I got my living word, I got my day moving, I have this thing I'm doing, and just be supportive to self and find what is best living word for self. And also to be careful not to go into defeatism. Not to go into defeatism after ignoring the fly. Not to go into defeatism, because that will just recycle itself back into the more suicide thinking. If this was anyhow helpful, I'd like to know. It would be cool if you could give me some comments. If you need help with starting your self-forgiveness process, let me know. I can help you. The same with living word application. The solutions are all here. We have all the solutions. Thank you and enjoy breath.